Hey friends, and
What's
welcome
up?
back to our channel. My name's Jessie.
I'm Ben.
Yeah, we do all things lifestyle, all things wellness, just kind of going through our life and sharing as much of it as we can. So today's video is actually going to be a roundup from a video that we put out about a month ago. So we told you guys that we were doing a plant-based vegan month for just to see how it helped, how we felt. I can link that down below so you guys can go and watch that first if you would like to, but we're kind of going to tell you how the month went. Was it good? Was it bad? What went on for each of us and what we're planning to do moving forward. So if you're interested, just keep on watching. Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to be putting out much more content. We have some like crazy news coming out next week. So
Yeah, what went well? In general, I would say that it went well. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't find it that difficult. Favorite part of it was trying new types of recipes and meals and eating in a different way. I liked the variety and just getting more honestly, what I felt like more flavor and volume into my meals. And just the general sense of fresh. I've always liked that feeling of eating fresh, real food, and this felt like it was taking it a step further. And yeah, so that part of it was enjoyable to me, eating new things and just trying things in a different way was cool.
Yeah, I can just literally repeat everything that Benjamin said. It was not that difficult. I feel like we had a ton more variety. The food that we made I just don't feel like we went into every meal being like, which meat do we have to buy this week? Or which, and instead we were able to just make what sounded good. And that was really great. And it was also really easy to find vegan recipes. And especially ones that were also gluten-free, which is important for me. So it was really easy. I had thought that it was going to be a little bit more difficult. I had a really stressful month for work, and for the most part we stayed pretty prepared, and I think that is really helpful with any kind of diet or way of eating, is to just be prepared, especially if you work full-time. And for me, so we really tried to be prepared. There were a few times where it was easy to just eat chips and salsa as a snack because that was all we had in the house. So
yeah, or grab the vegan protein bars that I bought.
Yeah. So we tried not to do that, at least for meals, as much. And I think we did pretty well, especially for never doing this before.
Yeah.
The best thing for me, honestly, is I think for the first time in 10 years, I didn't feel restricted. So I felt like I was able to eat anything that I craved, mostly because I don't normally crave meat. So I did not feel restricted at all, which was huge. As someone that has been on multiple diets, not only for losing weight, but for health reasons and elimination diets and autoimmune disease diets, all those types of things, they're so strict. So to be able to do this, I actually really thought that it was going to be much more difficult than it was. And it was, I kept telling Benjamin, it was the most satiated and unrestricted I've ever felt.
Yeah, and as your partner, as somebody who's known how much of a struggle this kind of stuff has been, and seeing her do a bunch of this stuff over the years that we've known each other, and also knowing her history,
the diets,
it was
stuff.
Yeah, it was just it was cool to see that for her, because liberated is the word that comes to my mind.
I was excited to eat, and I wasn't worried about anything. And granted, we didn't really go anywhere. We did order Indian food, but that was pretty easy. It's pretty easy to find. It's actually easier to find vegan Indian food than it is to find gluten-free Indian food. So, well, I should
really
say
any any type of takeout. There's just a lot of vegan options these days.
Yeah, so it was pretty easy.
So that was a good.
That was the good. Was there anything bad for you?
The bad.
Or anything, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that'll kind of push us also into like what we're planning to move
yeah,
forward.
Bad or struggle. I don't think so, honestly. Nothing
I was gonna say I don't.
Nothing big. Yeah, I think really the only thing that I can come up with is because meat has always been such a big part of the way that I eat.
He used to like do bodybuilding and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was like chicken protein.
Yeah, and I was like hardcore carnivore, so very different. What I know to default to, so that part, it's like on the days when you're feeling lazy, or like Jessie said, we did a pretty good job of staying like prepped and all that stuff, but on those days that we didn't, it is just a little bit harder because it does take effort to be like, well, what can I eat then? Or I guess the moments where I'm like, I'm really hungry, what do I eat? Because like the easiest answer for somebody that's eaten meat before is just like, oh, you just eat some meat and all of a sudden you feel full. But I would say the interesting thing is like comparing it, a lot of the reason you feel full when you eat meat is because it's heavy. Mm-hmm. Whereas you just have to learn to eat more for volume when you're eating vegan. So I would say that's really the only thing, but there were no major downsides for me.
I guess it's not a negative, but the hardest part was, again, when I would be busy, like my go-to things would be like pasta with sauce or like chips and salsa, which are technically vegan, but that wasn't the reason that I wanted to eat plant-based. Like I wanted to eat more plants. But again, this was like the first time we've ever been that like specific about it. And like what you're talking about with food and stuff, I think for me, understanding like the difference between feeling full and feeling satiated is like, I felt very like satiated and happy after what I ate in this challenge versus like feeling like I have a big block of meat in my stomach. I also think that a big reason, like if there are any vegan or plant-based people following this or listening to this video, if you want people to come to your side being kinder when they do try something vegan or plant-based, I put up that video and immediately got a comment of someone being like, you're not vegan. And I was like, I didn't say I was vegan. So I think that just like, if you want more people to be vegan or be plant-based
or see the merits of it.
Yeah, I think that coming in with like kindness and support versus like judgment of you're not doing this perfectly, or you can't be a vegan if you're only doing it for a month, or like neither of us were saying that we were vegans. Yeah. We were saying we were going to try to eat a vegan diet for the month and see how it made us feel. So I think that's the only thing that's a little negative about it. I think there's like some negative connotation around the word vegan and like, but that's a whole other video.
That leads us to what are we doing moving forward? And we had talked initially about, we're like, oh, let's try this, see how it goes. We didn't really have an intention of staying vegan forever.
Yeah.
At least not at this point.
Yeah.
We talked about incorporating fish basically, and maybe even seeing, and we haven't like committed to anything here, but maybe even going like the month of November by adding in fish and seeing how that goes. Mm-hmm. So that's the basic plan. And I think the other thing is just to like do the plant-based thing better. Meaning like kind of what Jessie was saying about just like things like pasta and chips and again, the whole reason you should be eating plant-based is because there's a lot of nutrients in plants and vegetables.
I am also planning to add back in eggs and see how that works. I noticed the only thing that I craved that was not vegan during this month was eggs toward the end of it. I'm planning to just try to incorporate 1 or 2 servings of that throughout the week and see how that goes. And if my body, handles it well, then I'll keep it. And if I don't feel like it's worth my time, then I won't. But I am planning to reincorporate eggs.
Yeah, and then I think the final piece that I was thinking of was we are going to still be pretty relaxed about this in terms of like, we live in Raleigh. There's a lot of good barbecue here. If we go out to eat, I'm going to have some pork and I'm going to enjoy it. It's just not something that we feel the need to incorporate on a regular basis.
We may someday go into a more focused plant-based vegan diet, but we're not there yet. We're kind of just dabbling in it and seeing what happens and how it goes, and like trying out different foods and seeing how they work with our body and how they don't. So I think we're purposefully not being strict about it. And I know there's a lot of people that are like, they become vegan and they are vegan, and it's for like other reasons as well. And so for us, it was more, we wanted to see how our bodies would respond to it and see if it would help. I will say that's actually one thing I forgot in the like con part, is that there was a part of me that hoped that maybe some of the issues I was having with like just like my health would change, but they didn't. So I wasn't going into this expecting them to, but there was of course a little piece of me that was like, oh, maybe this will help it. And it didn't. I didn't feel any worse, and I didn't feel really any better. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan moving forward. We're going to try out like a little bit more fish and eggs for me and kind of see how it goes, and continue to eat more plants, less chips and salsa, Jessie.
Yeah.
And see how it goes from there. But yeah, so I would say if you've ever been interested in trying it out or eating less meat or something like that, and you're afraid to, or anybody that's watching that happens to have like Hashimoto's, things like that, I think that just listening to your body and trying different things, like I said, for us, for months, especially for me, I just was not interested in meat, and I felt that I was eating it just because I felt that I had to, not because it was actually doing anything good for me or my body. So I took it out to see what happens, and the world didn't end, and my body still functioned perfectly fine, and I actually was happier. So I think that it's just like, try out different things and see how it goes and see how your body reacts, and try different things throughout your life, because things will continue to change, especially with women. Hormones will change, and like, you know, it is what it is. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. You got anything else?
Good for me.
Cool. So if there's ever anything else that you guys would like to see about this like food journey or whatever, we'll continue to show you in different videos, but wanted to just make a specific video about this. So if in my next vlog you see us like eating eggs or something, you're like, what are these guys doing?
And we did it as like a 30-day challenge type of thing, so it made sense for us to recap it and not just leave you guys hanging.
Yeah, true. But thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate all of your support, and you know, try out different things and see what happens, because why not? What could happen? But
figure out what works for you.
Yeah, exactly. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.